Earlier this week, the National Bureau of Statistics released the most recent Consumer Price Inflation Report. The Consumer Price Inflation Report provides statistics about how fast or even slow goods and services change in Nigeria. Babajide Ogunsowo, founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's data and information consultant, is here to share more insight about the rising cost of living, which is a very serious issue to many. Hello, Babajide. It's good to have you. First, I'm seeing a balloon. Is that for me or what's going on?
Yes, I think your birthday came early,
No,
but we'll get to this much later.
All right. So let's talk about the Bureau of Statistics. It's saying that inflation rate is currently at 26.7%. How significant is this for the common man and even for the government?
Now, for the common man and government, Anne, the significance can be looked at in three ways. And I'll explain each of these three ways. The first is the Bureau of Statistics says inflation year on year, which is the price of goods and services, average price of goods and services this year compared to last year has changed by 26.7%. Why is this number important, Anne? The last time inflation was as high as 26.7% was 12.5 years ago, Anne. That was back in August 2005. But inflation of August 2005 and Nigeria of 2005 is different from Nigeria of today. In August 2005, price of petrol was 65 naira per liter. Now, 600 naira per liter. In 2005, the economy was still growing at an average rate of 7%. Now, the economy is growing by only 2%. In 2005, you could go to the market and exchange your naira. 133 naira will get you $1 in 2005. Now, you need 1,100 naira to get you $1. So in summary terms, even though inflation was as high as 26.7% in 2005, this inflation rate bites differently. And a lot of Nigerians are calling this inflation rate a frustration rate. That is the first reason why this number is important. Now to the second reason. Even though the National Bureau of Statistics says inflation is at 26.7%, that is only one side of the story. Within this report, they allow us to know that we already have 5 states that inflation has crossed 30%. I'm talking about Lagos, Ondo, Rivers, Bayelsa, and Kogi states. And here's what I'm saying. For a lot of families, this red balloon represents what the average price of bread was last year. Based on the reports, this is how the price of bread has gone in the last 12 months. Wow. Based on the report from the National Bureau of Statistics, they say this was the price of commercial transportation this time last year. Based on the reports, they tell us this is how the price of commercial transportation has gone in the last 12 months. Based on the National Bureau of Statistics, they tell us this was the price that you pay to send your child to school this time last year. What has happened in the last 12 months, Anne? The price of education. So in summary, this isn't just an inflation rate for many Nigerians. For millions of households, this inflation rate represents a frustration rate.
Wow. And what goods or services are prices most volatile? When we talk about volatility, what are the facts that we have?
Let's take a look at the facts, Anne. Clearly, it allows us to know the way Nigerians are feeling in the rural area is different from the urban areas. Let's look at prices of food for families living in the rural areas. Based on the report, that has changed by 28%. For families living in urban areas, price of food has gone as high as 33%. Transportation in the last year in rural areas on an average 23%, 32% for families living in urban areas. Health, an average rate of change of 21% for families living in rural areas. For families living in urban areas, their health expenditure has grown by as much as 25%, and education, that key numbers. both rural and urban areas, families are saying the price to send children to school has significantly gone up, even though their incomes are remaining stagnant.
Well, how much impact does the security situation in Nigeria have on domestic food production?
On that, there's some good news. Let's take a look at some of the polls. We're having good news, even coming from the leadership of the Defense Headquarters. If we take a look at what exactly is going on with farmers, were asked, do they feel safer going to the farms last year as compared to this year? In the Northeast, when the government came in, 43% of farmers said they felt safe going to the farm. We've seen security improving in the Northeast. 46% of farmers are saying they feel safe going to the farms. We've seen growth as well in the Northwest, improvements, feedback showing that security has improved on farm areas. North Central, we've seen security improvements as well. Southeast as well, we've seen a little bit of confidence from farmers going to the farms. Where the challenge right now lies is we see in the South, farmers are saying when the government came in, 56% of those surveyed said they were comfortable going to the farms. That has dropped a bit. And in the Southwest, the numbers are a bit the same. So that's some good news for the future, which means that farmers are feeling more comfortable to go to the farms right now compared to May 2023, some months ago. So we clearly see that, yes, security seems to have improved with respect to protection for farmers.
But we never leave this discussion without talking about a possible solution. So now that we have all of these in our hands, what can be done to at least reduce the pain families are going through? A lot of people are going through pains because of goods and services and inflation.
And before we talk about the solutions, we need to understand the problems. And I would like to spend just 1 minute to clearly explain the problem. 6 decades ago, when Nigeria gained independence, our population was 45 million. That of the United Kingdom, 52 million. And in the last 6 decades, Nigeria's population has grown by 386%. The population of the United Kingdom has grown by less than 30%. The population of the United States within the same period has grown by just about 80%. And in the last 6 decades, Nigeria's population has grown faster than that of Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. In summary terms, Nigeria is the fertility capital of the world. People say we are not producing, but we are producing babies. The challenge is our production of babies is faster than our domestic production of food and essential goods and services. And so we have a high and rising demand, and our supply is slow, weak. And because demand has significantly outstripped our domestic capacity to produce, prices of the few scarce items keeps rising. And so we need to now start seriously thinking about giving families that have small sizes incentives, and families that have large sizes, we have to consider this incentive to have a large family. And so what has happened is, over the years, population has grown, and so persons living in poverty have significantly grown. What is in front of you are the 10 states that house Nigeria's poorest. And those numbers beside it are the rates of inflation. Top 7 states, 6 out of these 7 states are located in the north. 5 of these states are located in the northwest. So one solution is we now need, more than we've ever done, need to see the northwest governors collaborating together. We need to see the House of Assembly members in the northwest collaborating. And we need to see even collaboration among the local governments. So for the priority right now, northwest, because what is happening is a lot of Nigerians, because of the way inflation is going, they're already spending their future. And if you spend your future, what will you spend in future?
Right. Thank you very much, Babajide Ogunso, founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's data analyst. Thank you for sharing your insights on this matter.
And the pleasure is all mine.